you are from group 12. I do hope that you are registering to the correct group. If you done so, Alhamdulillah. If you are in the wrong group, maybe by next week, you can go and then change your group accordingly, all right? Okay, so I don't want to waste the time. Let's take a look at the portfolio at the first place, all right? So I am using Padlet as our portfolio. My Padlet will somehow prepare you with all the slide activities, and also is going to be the submission platform for all the assessment that you're going to submit later. Okay, so let me share with you the link to my Padlet so that we can somehow walk into this Padlet, and then you know, you can check the slide for today. All right, so let's go to the Padlet together. Let me share the screen. All right, everyone, can you see my screen? Boleh?
Yes, Miss T.
All right, thank you so much. I am really sorry because I'm using this screen right now, so I cannot see the Gmeet screen anymore. If you have question, just unmute yourself and answer me. Yeah. All right. So this is going to be our Padlet. So this is our portfolio for LCC500-12. If you could see here, I have somehow uploaded my photo in intro mingle box where I introduce myself. You can call me Miss D. I wish you to have a great Christmas ahead, and you will do great, inshallah. All right. So I don't want my photo to be alone there. Kesian, saya seorang-seorang kat situ. So after we complete our class today, I would like to continue with uploading your photo, and then tell me about yourself a little bit. Tell me about your name, where are you from, and what is the most interesting thing about you. Right? Tell me about your name, where you from, and what is the most interesting thing about you. Okay? And you need to make sure the photo that you upload is somehow clear enough, because I would like to see your face, because I believe you are beautiful and you're handsome. So I would like to see you and I would like to know you. All right. And also tell me what's the name that you would like me to call you, because sometimes your name is Aisha, but you would like to be called as Jemah. I don't know. All right. Or maybe your name is Ali, but you would like to be known as Ben Ami. I don't know. You tell me. All right. Okay. So let's embark into this journey together. Like I mentioned previously, we're not going to waste the time. All right. We're going to have that introduction in class when we meet each other. Okay. Face to face, inshallah, after I. Okay, so this is course briefing slide for LCC 500, English for Workplace Communication. Let's take a look at this together, okay? All right, so this course aim to develop skills students need for workplace communication, both informal and informal setting. Students will be exposed to a wide range of language norms and convention needed in informal discussion and formal meetings. So basically, for this particular course, we're going to prepare you with all the what does it call, with all the language communication that you are going to use when you do your internship, and yes, when you do work in the future. All right, so there will be two assessments for LCC 500, and both assessments somehow focus on the informal discussion and formal meeting. When it comes to informal discussion, usually you're going to have discussion with your colleague on how to solve one issue, and that informal discussion should not be done in a meeting room. Somehow it can be conducted at the cafe, all right, or at the pantry. It can be at the informal setting. That's why it is called as informal discussion. However, when it comes to informal discussion, there will be a problem. There will be things to solve, right? You may need to look for the alternative to solve one problem. However, when it comes to formal meeting, yes, it will be conducted in a room, all right, in a meeting room where it's involved your superior, like CEO, all right, there will be secretary, there will be treasurer, and any other stakeholders. All right. Hui, like I mentioned previously, there will be two types of, not two types, two assessment for LCC 500. Number one is workplace discussion, and the other one is formal meeting. I would like to go in forward so that we can somehow, yes, here we can discuss this thoroughly. Okay, workplace discussion consists of two parts, part A and part B. Part A is the workplace discussion itself, and then part B is email writing. Workplace discussion consists of 40%, and another 10% is for the email. If you could see here, you somehow obtain 50% already in assessment 1. So it means that you have another 50% for assessment 2. This time around, this is a new course, somehow introduced in 1 or 2 semesters back. All right. This course somehow uh, this course is not prepare you to pass. Why? Because last time we have like 3 or 4 assessment. If you sit for 2 assessments, sometimes you have passed the subject, so you don't have to sit for the task 3 and task 4 if you think that you excel enough, right? But for this time around, even you think that you excel good in the assessment 1, you cannot move forward. You cannot somehow mention that you don't want to sit for assessment 2, because definitely there will be nobody who obtain 50 over 50. You might somehow obtain highest 45 over 40, 45.5, for example, per 50. Hence, you still fail the subject. So it means that even though you have, alhamdulillah, you have the tendency of doing so, you cannot do so. All right. Okay. So like I mentioned previously, the mark is quite high, 50% each. All right. For assessment number 1, workplace discussion, if you could see here, all right, the division of marks for workplace discussion is quite heavy for some of you, because the language itself consists of 20 marks, all right, 20 marks, and task fulfillment consists of 10 marks. Meanwhile, interaction and fluency cover 5% each, 5 marks each. And then for email writing, you have 4 marks for language, 3 marks for task fulfillment, 3 marks for format. All right. Let's take a look more. Okay, so this is one of the example of assessment 1. You can go through your slide if you cannot see here clearly. Okay, like I mentioned previously, there will be 2 parts, part A and part B. Part A somehow a group work where you can work in 5 or you can work in 6. Okay, but I would like to encourage everyone to work in 6. Why? Because it's quite haywire a bit to conduct this assessment. Imagine, all right, you are the first group, you will come and then you will do the part A. Once you have done with your part A, you're going to do the part B. During your part B intervention, all right, group number 2 will come in to conduct the part A. Can you see how it goes? So it's quite confusing sometimes for the lecturer. It's quite high wire a bit, chaos a bit for the lecturer. So I would like to somehow encourage everyone to work in 6 so that we can finish that fast, all right? So we can have a quickly session of everyone. All right, we can finish everyone in that 2 weeks. We usually take like 2 weeks to complete all the groups. All right, we don't want to somehow prolong that to the 3rd week, because we have another assessment to conduct. All right, okay, so the preparation time given for all of you is 10 minutes. All right, and then if you have 5 members in the group, you will have 25 minutes to discuss. If you have 6, then 30 minutes to discuss. Like I mentioned previously, I would like you to go with 6 members per group. All right, 6 members per group. Okay, that's the situation. You can read on your own. All right, we're going to discuss this, in class time to time before you sit for your workplace discussion. But you can go through the situation on your own. I have uploaded this in my Padlet. Okay, then for part B, individual work. All right, once you have somehow discussed the problem, all right, in part A, you are moving through email writing where you're going to somehow write the information that you have gotten from the workplace discussion just now. You can have a piece of paper and a pen with you during the discussion to note everything that you and your friend had discussed. All right. And then what you need to do for the email writing, you're going to compose an email of 200 to 250 words addressing your head of department with a copy to your CC manager in in soft copy. All right. Okay. Uh, you are addressing the email to head of department, your HOD, and then you need to CC the email to your GM, general manager. All right. However, for this email writing, even it is called as email writing, you're not going to use the email to submit or to send your information. Everything should be done in soft copy. You can open your words, write it there, and then send that word, save that words to PDF and submit to me. We would like to somehow um, avoid from you having to use ChatGPT to write your email. Okay, number two, summarize the key decision made during the discussion by referring to the notes taken. Like I mentioned previously, you can have the notes with you, no problem at all. All right, and then after you have written everything on the piece of paper, you are going to write the email and you're going to also attach the paper that you used just now. Okay, submit the soft copy to your class lecturer. So we have somehow discussed about the division of marks. Okay, now we are moving to assessment 2, which is formal meeting. All right, formal meeting consists of 40%, and then part B, minutes of meeting, consists of 10%. Again, I would like to encourage you to work in six. The division of mark is somehow same with the discussion just now. So we're going to move forward to formal meeting. All right. So for formal meeting, it is actually to display ideas with precision in verbal and written communication skill during formal meeting related to academic or occupational matters. It was the same as just as assessment number one, where 25 minutes been given for 5 person in a group, and 30 minutes will be given for 6 members in the group. Okay, so this is a situation. You are going to somehow discuss about the situation. All right, there will be points given to you. Okay, maybe you need to discuss about the suitable activities, and then you need to also discuss on selection of sponsors. All right, so everything has been given it for you in the question paper. So when you have the question with you, you need to read the situation, try to understand and execute that wisely. All right. So that's all for assessment. We have only 2 assessment for this one. Okay. Next week we're going, and next week after Raya lah. Okay, we're going to see each other face to face. Okay, let me, ya Allah. Kejap Hold on, everyone. Okay. So, like I mentioned previously, I have 2 chapters to present today, and the first chapter is workplace communication. All right. So, I just would like to start the lecture by now. I hope everyone is ready. All right. You may take notes if you want to. All right. So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The first chapter is workplace communication. Let's embark into this journey together, yeah? All right. So, workplace communication. What is workplace communication? It is actually an act of sharing or exchanging information from one person to another or a group of people. When it comes to workplace communication, there will be two-way communication involved in between colleague or in between superior to subordinate, subordinate to superior. Okay, so it definitely happen in workplace, all right, but it can be in a meeting, it can be outside of the meeting because it involves informal discussion as well as formal meetings, all right. If you could see number two, they somehow stated the exchange of workplace information through multiple different mediums. This is one of the example of the mediums. I am lecturing you. We are using Gmeet. So Gmeet is one of the medium. It can be face to face, all right, or it can be by phone call. It is depending on the situation and preference at that time. All right. Okay, when it comes to communication process, definitely it's involved more than two people. Kalau it's involved only one people, macam kita cakap lah orang gila tak mengaku orang gila. Alright, so when it comes to communication process, there will be two or more people involved. The first one, alright, the first one who somehow start the conversation will be the messenger. For now, I am the messenger. I am giving you lecture on workplace communication. So the message will send to you. You are the receiver. All right. However, in order for us to know whether the receiver has received the information, the receiver somehow should give feedback, like having a conversation. When I say, okay, today I would like to report about this. Oh, how about the report? Can you tell me how many percent involved, whatever it is? That's what we call as feedback. Okay, all right. But um the conversation happen, we call that as interference. I am having an interference with you right now. Okay, I am the message, I am the passenger, I'm giving you a message, you are the receiver, and you're going to give feedback in order for us to understand that this particular conversation happened. Okay, when it comes to effective communication, you need to make sure that the instruction, the content, all right, the context contain clear content, all right. Why? Because we would like to make sure everyone to understand the same page as yours. However, when it comes to clear context, it will somehow involve several entities. The first one is the sender. I am the sender of the information. Whatever information in my brain to be transferred to you, I encode it to you. Whatever things that come out from my mouth is what we call as decode. Alright. You dengar, you decode. I encode, you decode. Alright. Once I encoded the message, you decoded based on your understanding. All right. Different people might have different understanding. Why? Because it is depending on your experience, it is depending on your knowledge. For example, I ask you to come up with a mind map. Some of you would grab a piece of paper and draw the mind map, but some of you might grab the iPad, all right, the tablet to write, to create the mind map. It is depending on what you have like that, what you have at that time. Okay, it is depending on your preferences, it is depending on your experience. That's what we call as understand on your own understanding, based on your own understanding. Okay, uh, that's for effective communication. All right, so workplace communication, all right, here, first up 2023 somehow mentioned whether working at the office or from home, employees are more productive, have greater work-life balance, and overall better mental health when the organization has a functioning communication networks. When it comes to working, definitely sometimes we have a good boss, and then sometimes we're going to get involved in a toxic what does it call environment. But you need to know that the most crucial idea on how we can somehow avoid this is by having a good communication between you and your bosses, you and your colleagues. I have one experience with one of my student. She attended this what is it called, internship last semester, and then most of the time she needs to um, create 7 videos every day, includes weekends. Hence, you can say that she has not having this work-life balance. So I asked her to go and talk to the supervisor, telling the supervisor it's quite heavy for her because she also has to submit their FYP, right? So when she go and talk, Alhamdulillah, the bosses somehow listen and she has less work. All right. The advantages of effective workplace communication is one of the advantages is encourage collaboration, where you can somehow collaborate with different department in the office, and then it can build and maintain relationship across the organization. Definitely, when you know how to talk to people, when you don't get so angry about everything, then you can somehow build and maintain relationship across the organization, then definitely you can somehow solve issue and conflict that fast. Sometimes it will take a lot of time to solve one problem, but because you have a very good communication with everyone in the office, you can solve the issue quickly. All right. So there are three types of communication. The first one is verbal, second non-verbal, and written. Right? I believe you know what is a verbal. I don't want to somehow discuss on this. And then yes, this one, verbal communication. Verbal communication somehow involve three different communication. The first one, interpersonal. Interpersonal consists of one-to-one conversation, one-on-one conversation. For example, when I call you to my room, all right, to discuss about your FYP. Usually, it is a one-on-one communication because different people have different topic. So your topic right now has a problem on research methodology, for example. So you are here, we are here to discuss on that. That is one of the example of one-on-one communication. And then the next one, you have group conversation where you have more than 2 people, all right, to discuss on one problem, but definitely less than a large audience. Sometimes it can go up to 10, then more than 10, we're going to have this public speaking. All right. Public speaking involve a speaker and a large group of people listening, such as lecture, all right, speeches and presentation. Allah subhanallah. Okay, I'm so sorry. All right. Okay, so verbal communication, in order for you to somehow deliver effective speaking, effective information to your other interlocutors, the first one that you should do is to think before speak. We are human. We are human. We uh, we are the intelligence creatures. All right, we can somehow think before speaking. If you have problem to think before speaking, it means that you have this learning disability. You should go and check. We understand that there will be, students, there will be people out there who has problem, all right? They could not somehow think like the normal person. No problem at all, all right? No problem at all. It is not something that you should feel ashamed of, all right? If you have learning disability, then you need to come and inform your lecturer so that the intervention is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so number two is use concise language. Definitely your language, your information should be comprised and then easy to understand. It should be straightforward. And then understand the audience. Once you have a concise language, it can help your audience to understand better because like I mentioned previously, different people might have different things, a different understanding. So you should check sometimes, because we don't want to come out, we don't want to have two mazhab, after that. All right. So the next one is be mindful of the tone. When it comes to tone, definitely you have different types of tone. When you speak to your lecturer, it is going to be different from how you speak to your lecturer ataupun how you speak to your friend. That's what we call as be mindful of the tone. You need to control your tone even though you are angry at that time. You should learn on how to respect people because that people is not somehow involved in the problem that you are angry at. Okay. All right. The next one is pay attention to body language. When it comes to role play, we are not going to focus only on verbal, but we're going to focus on non-verbal as well. We're going to check on the body language too, because we would like to see whether it is parallel with whatever that come out from your mouth. Sometimes when you would like to show people that you are disappointed, what you can do is to play a little bit with your body language. All right. And then employ active listening. Correct, everyone. When it comes to presentation, it is good for you to employ active listening, where you should listen to everyone's opinion, because at the end of the day, you need to give feedback to them. Speak with confidence. And then the last one is feedback. All right. Okay, non-verbal communication. There are three types of non-verbal communication. One is body language, number two is gestures, and the last one is facial expression. When it comes to non-verbal communication, there will be things to consider. All right, for example, like I mentioned previously, if you somehow would like to share the emotion of being frustrated or being disappointed, what you can do is to share from the body language. Maybe you can sit like this, and then you can make a movement from the facial expression as well, postures, gestures, space. When we said about space, for example, you are actually talking to your best friend, BFF. So the space is going to be that near and you can somehow hug them whatsoever. But when you need to speak to your CEO, definitely the space is going to be different a little bit. You are going to, sit a bit further than your boss. Okay? Eye contact as well as touch. Okay, so this is an example of written communication. You can read this on your own, but I would like to discuss on why we somehow pick written communication as one of the communication. Written communication, it is somehow economical and efficient, less cost, because nowadays we have all this technology. You can just upload your work in email and then send it to whoever that you would like to send. All right. Number two is accuracy, minimize miscommunication, and number three, record keeping, self and permanent record. So number two and three, when we somehow finish with one particular discussion, it is good for you to email back to the people who involved. Why? Because we would like to make sure that there is no miscommunication happen, because sometimes we listen something else, people listen something else. All right, it is also good for record keeping, where people can come and then refer to the email again to get the information. Maybe they lost the train of thought sometime. Okay, so the last one is goodwill and branding. Develop positive and respectful professional relationship. Um, uh, Usually when it comes to meeting ataupun informal discussion, in order for you to develop positive and respectful professional relationship, if by having a written communication where you can say thank you very much for what you have done to us whatsoever. All right, and then it is good for you to also summarize whatever things that you have discussed, so that it can somehow give a win-win situation to both parties. Okay, so that's all. If you think that whatever that discussed just now is insufficient, you can just go and do your research over here. If you don't want to do this, you would like to ask me question later, no problem at all. It is depending again on your preferences. Okay, that's for first chapter. Okay, first chapter pukul berapa? 12.30. Give me another 20 minutes, insyaAllah kita finish with types of communication. Alright, so I hope that you bear with me for another 20 minutes to 30 minutes. Okay, so now we're talking about types of communication. So they are, alright, six type of communication: downward communication, upward communication, horizontal communication, and diagonal communication. We have grapevine communication. We're going to learn about this later. Okay, now downward communication. When it comes to downward communication, the communication flows from superior to subordinate. That's why it is called as downward communication, daripada atas ke bawah. Alright, superior to subordinate. However, when it comes to this kind of communication, those communication won't somehow ask for your response or feedback. Why? Because most of the time, this kind of communication involve a one party announcement. Contoh, yesterday, we have got this email telling us that we're going to receive our bonus today. We're not going to reply, oh yes or no, no. It is a one-off apa tu instruction. Okay, another example would be announcement of a CEO, notice of merger with a former competitor, or speeches, video, or maybe direction or instruction given by the managers to the employee. So this is what we call as downward communication from superior to subordinate. Okay, all right. Now we're moving to upward. Okay, upward is the vice versa of downward just now. This time around, it is from the subordinate to superior. Subordinate to superior. Okay, usually this happens spontaneously. For example, during buka puasa. Okay, you were there to take the nasi biryani whatsoever, and your boss happened to be next to you, and you say, eh boss, budget itu dah clear ke? Right, so it is happen spontaneously, and sometimes it can happen in the workplace, in the meeting room, in the apa tu, your boss office, or sometimes it can happen anywhere. Right, okay, it encourage input from employees or subordinate without having the superior to ask first. However, it is important to build trust among these two parties. Yes, definitely you should somehow have a good rapport with your boss to ask that kind of question. If you're not that close and you go and ask, hey boss, budget saya dah clear belum? Memang bangang lah orang tu burning kan. Alright, so be careful, be mindful of the tone. Alright, please make sure that you know the space. Go back to the space just now. If you are close enough to that particular person, then you can somehow go and ask straight away. If you don't, then please don't. It should be in a meeting. Okay, so what kind of examples, what kind of things that you could discuss with your boss is the progress report, like I said just now, budget, all right, proposal of project, budget estimate, and the last one is suggestion for improvement. Okay, subordinate to superior, upward. Kalau downward is superior to subordinate. All right, so there are advantages of upward communication. So the first one is increased employee engagement. All right, employees' voice are heard and their ideas are valued. Correct. When it comes to advantages of upward communication, because you have the how am I supposed to say? You have the time to speak to your boss straight away without going to get into several people in the middle. Because sometimes when it comes to getting to get to your boss, you have several people to talk to, from you to your supervisor to your manager and then your boss, the CEO. So it will take a lot of time. When you have this kind of communication, it will increase employee engagement. Your voice are heard because you can go straight away to the CEO and then talk about your problem, all right? And then it's improved decision making because the decision can be made at that time. You don't have to wait for the meeting to happen. You can somehow get the confirmation at that time. The next one is identification of issues and opportunities, where it is easier to identify potential problems and opportunities. Excuse me. Sometimes when your boss somehow visit the pantry, you need to imagine that you are working and you are now at the pantry, and your the boss coming to that pantry and then asks you, is there any progress on pumpang kan? So you can just answer at that time. So you have the opportunities to solve the issue, you have the opportunities to get the feedback from the boss as soon as it should be. So increase transparency, definitely there is no other people in the middle, all right, to hide something from you. You can get straight away from the boss, all right. Improves employee satisfaction, definitely. And the last one is enhanced innovation. Why it enhance innovation? Because when you are working in a workplace, when you have problem, everyone should get the same or the equal opportunity, all right, to solve the issue. Since you have the equal opportunity, you can give opinion, and that opinion is what we call as one of the innovation, to minimize the problem maybe, or to solve the problem at all right. It is depending on what you need at that time. Okay, so the next one is diagonal communication. All right, it is the exchange of information between different level within the organization. It takes place between employees without any consideration of the hierarchy. um Usually it happen in a small enterprise lah. Okay, you have like when you would like to discuss about something, you can go and then talk to your CEO straight away. For example, when you work in Proton lah, contoh, you are the foreman. Okay, and you would like to tell the management that you have lack of tires at that time. So, if you would like to talk to the supervisor, it will take time. You would like to talk to the manager, he's not there. So, what you need to do is knock the door of the CEO and tell, boss, tayar tak cukup. Alright. So, this is the exchange of information between different level within the organization. It take place between employee without any consideration of the hierarchy. Okay, but usually it won't happen in very big company, because it's quite hard for you to go and see the CEO. All right, he has this apa tu secretary and whatsoever. Okay, so what are the advantages of diagonal communication? It build relationship. Superior, senior, lower, junior employees from different department can establish relationship. Sometimes you are from department of marketing, and you would like to contact somebody from Department of Finance to ask for the budget. This is also one of the example of diagonal communication, and it can be a relationship. You know everyone in the office. Okay, reduce workload. Superior senior employees can reduce workload, and it minimize the chance of miscommunication. Correct. Because you can somehow directly contact them, so there is no intervention in the middle. Hence, you can get quick information, and it reduce miscommunication. Okay, so the next one is lateral communication. It takes place between department of the same level in organization. It is usually applied for sharing information, idea and thought between colleagues. Example, member coordinate tasks, working together to resolve conflict. You're going to call several people from different department. Ada marketing, ada finance, ada apa lagi? Ada procurement contohnya, alright, in one particular meeting. What are the things that you're going to discuss about that is actually to coordinate tasks.